So I wanted to ask that should I inform the admin या सीधा
Team
जैसे
leaders
पहले?
will do the needful. No, you just fill up that form.
अच्छा, वो Moodle में जाके है ना?
In that format you have to fill up.
अच्छा, नहीं वो Moodle में जाके होगा क्या?
Hmm?
Moodle में जाना होगा जैसे बाकी एग्जाम्स दिए हैं?
हाँ, वो आपको गाइड करेंगे। Moodle से
ओके,
एग्जाम होंगे शायद, है ना?
ठीक ठीक, थैंक यू।
ओके। अरहंत सिद्ध सुर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर जोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। मोक्ष मार्गस्य नेतारं वेतारं कर्म भूभृताम् ज्ञातारं विश्वतत्त्वानां वन्दे तद्गुणलब्धये। वन्दे तद्गुणलब्धये। Acharya Uma Swami's Tattvat Sutra, and we had completed so far 4 aphorisms. Today we will be starting with the 5th one. It is about the 4 modes of explanation, nikshep. Okay. So for knowing the 7 fundamentals, Tattvat Sutra's main content is the 7 fundamental elements. Okay. Along with 7 fundamental elements, it's also covering the right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct. Okay, which is the path of liberation. Now, for knowing these 2 things, we have to apply some tools. Okay, so these tools are of 3 types at 3 levels. One for the very low intellect people level, which is only valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints, praman and nay. This is the first option. The second option, who are little bit more interested, of mediocre interest, for them there are 6 options given. And for the one who are very much interested, who had got much of time, much of intellect, for them there are 8 things that has been mentioned. So 6, 7, 8 aphorisms deals with these 3 solutions. But before that, this 5th one, which explains the mode of explanation. So whatever you want to express in terms of valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints, that has to be done through these 4 modes of explanation. Okay, so in our worldly life we use these 4 modes of explanation to present anything. Okay, if I want to explain anything, then I have to use these 4 modes of explanation. Okay, so that is what we are going to start with. Page number 31. I'll make you a co-host, Hemali. So the 4 modes of explanation. Yeah. So we start with you only, Hemali. You read.
The 4 modes of explanation, mixed shapes. The upcoming aphorism begins the discussion of the 4 modes of explanation, clarifying how one should understand the aforementioned 7 fundamental principles, tattvas, such as soul, and the 3 jewels, ratnatraya of right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. According to the doctrine of comprehensive valid knowledge, praman, and viewpoints, the term nikshev refers to the conventionally accepted modes of explanation in the world. The aphorism that introduces the modes of explanation is as follows. Nama stapana dravya bhavatas Tanyasa. The exposition or presentation of the three jewels and the 7 or 9 fundamental principles is done through these 4 nikshapes: name, nam, representation or installation, sthapna, substance, dravya, and inner state or mode, which is bhav. These 4 also serve as the basis to facilitate worldly conventional matters, lok vyavhar. The general nature of the modes of explanation is as follows. Assigning a name to a place, person, or object without regard to its qualities or faults is called designation by name, naam nikshe. Establishing the representation of one thing in another, such as saying this is that, is known as designation by representation, sthapna nikshe. Establishing the past and future modes, paryais, in the present is called designation by substance, dravya nikshep, while establishing the presently existing object in its current mode is called designation by mode, bhavya nikshep. To explain by assigning names, examples are often given, such as person named Sundar Lal, who's actually unattractive, or a poor man named Dhanpal, or an ordinary person named Rajaram. These are instances of Naam Nikshep. Although these examples are not correct, they can give the impression that something false is being stated deliberately. However, in the context of Naam Nikshep, it is not necessary that Sundarlal must be unattractive. He could very well be handsome too. The fact is that, from the perspective of Naam Nikshep, the naming of a person, place, or object is done without any consideration of quality or faults. Therefore, the name Sundar Lal can be given to either an unattractive or handsome person or a handsome person. The point is simply this, that for worldly interaction to function, it is necessary for every place, person, or object to have a name. When a place, object, or person is referred to by a particular name without consideration, any qualities or faults, that name becomes established through Nam Nikshep. The point is that the principle of as the name, so the quality does not apply in Nam Nikshep, because a king names his son Rajkumar and a servant also names his son Rajkumar, not Sevakumar. In Sthapna Nikshep, for the sake of worldly interaction, one person or object is symbolically established in another. The establishment is of 2 types. A.
Tadakar.
Tadakar Sthapna, identical form establishment, and Atadakar Sthapna, non-identical form establishment. Installing a marble idol in the form of Bhagwan Mahavir and establishing the presence of Bhagwan Mahavir within it is called identical form establishment, Tadakar Sthapna. The grand festival of consecration, celebrating the 5 auspicious events in the life of Tirthankar, Panch Kalyanak Pratishtha Mahotsav, held in the Jain community, are the most excellent examples of identical form of establishment. In the game of chess, imagining an elephant, camel, or horse in simple formless stone pieces is an example of non-identical form establishment, atadaka sthapna. When one person or object is symbolically established in another, that object gains the honor or status of the one established in it. The fundamental difference between Nam Nikshep and Sthapna Nikshep is that in Nam Nikshep there is no conduct of reverence or worship, whereas in Sthapna Nikshep such conduct does exist. Any consecrated idol is worshipped just as the person is in whom the presence has been symbolically established. Referring to something in the present primarily based on its past or future state is called Dravya Nikshep. For example, calling a man a worshipper, pujari, in the present because he performed worship in the past, or referring to a prince as a king because in the present, because he will become a king in the future. These are examples of Dravya Nikshep. Referring to someone exactly as they are in the present based solely on their current state is called Bhav Nikshep. For example, calling a person a pujari worshipper while they're actually engaged in the worship is the instance of Bhav Nikshep. In this way, we constantly use these forms of Nikshep in our everyday lives. A verse from the Jain scriptures beautifully illustrates the use of all four types of nikshapes within a single word, jina. The verse is as follows: Apta Pratiksha, Nama Jina, Jina Nama, Bhavana, Jina Puna, Jinam da Jinam da Padiyo, Dava Jina, Jina Jiva, Bhava Jina, Samava Saranatha. Explain meaning. When someone is named Jinnah without regard to possessing the actual qualities of a Jinnah, it is an example of Nama Jinnah, designated by name. When a Jinnah idol is consecrated and established through installation rituals, it is Sthapna Jinn, designation by representation. When a soul has the potential to become a Jinn, due to its inherent capability or spiritual nature, it is Dravya Jinn, designated by substance. When a Jinn is present and preaching in the divine, preaching assembly, Samosaran, it is Bhava Jinn, designated by present state or mode. Here, it is being said that the Ratnatrayas, right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct, as well as the soul and the other fundamental elements, Tattvad, should be understood and explained on the basis of these four nikshapes. One should engage in the process of understanding and explaining them through this framework. By doing so, a true and clear understanding of these tattvads is formed. Nam, Sthapna, Dravya Nikshep are subjects of real viewpoint, which is Dravyathika Nay, while Bhav Nikshep is the subject of modal viewpoint, Paryayvartika Nay. When one gains correct understanding of these nikshapes, then the conventional description of right belief and other components of the three jewels, as well as that of the soul and other substances, begin to make true sense in the light of these distinctions.
Okay, so this is the end of the fifth. So there are four types of modes of explanation. Okay, so first is designation by name, where we always put name to a particular person or place for our worldly conventional matters, right? If you have four children, then you name each, no? Then only you can call certain person, right? So similarly, we all use this in our day-to-day life, name people, name places, and accordingly we do our, we can say, conventional behaviors around them, okay? Similarly, there is a designation by place, Thapna Nikshep. Okay. It is called designation by representation. So these are of two kinds, Tadakar or Tadakar. Tadakar means identical form establishment. So the consecration celebration of these Panchkarnaks that we do in our Mandirji, where an idol with the rituals of putting mantras in it, and it becomes as good as a live Tirthankar, you know. So that is called identical form establishment. So our mandir is like a samosaran, and the pratima, it's there in the mandir, is like a live Tirthankar. Okay. This is called identical form establishment. And there is one more non-identical form establishment, as in the example of chess, you know. There are certain things called elephant, camel, horse, although in reality they are of not those shape. So one who resembles the shape, they are called identical form establishment, and those who doesn't resemble the shape and all is called non-identical form establishment. Okay, so these two. Now the third one. Before going to the third one, we will see what is the difference between the first two. So the difference between the Nam Nikshep and Sthapna Nikshep is that in Nam Nikshep there is no conduct of reverence or worship. Whereas in Sthapna Nikshep, which Sthapna Nikshep? Only the identical form establishment. There, such conduct does exist. We do pay reverence to the Tirthankar in our Mandirji, the Pratima in our Mandirji, the idol in our Mandirji is as good as a Tirthankar. So this is the difference between the two. Any consecrated idol is worshipped just as the person in whom the presence has been symbolically established. Now the third and the fourth. The third is the Dravyanic shape. Okay. Designation by substance. Referring, 1 minute. Designation by substance, and then the last one is designations by mode. Okay. So referring to something in the present, primarily based on its past or future. Okay. So Rajkumar, the son of a king, is also referred to as a prince or a king, although he is now the son of a king, but in future he will become a king. So he is being referred here as a now king. Similarly, one who was worshipping the idols previously is called a pujari. Okay. For example, calling a man a worshipper in the present because he performed worship in the past, or referring to a prince as a king in the present because he will become a king in the future. These are the examples of Dravya Nikshep, designation by substance. The last one, Bhav Nikshep, mode, designation by mode, referring to someone exactly as they are in the present, based solely on their current state, is called Bhav Nikshep. For example, calling a person pujari while they are actually engaged in worship is an instance of Bhav Nikshep. Now, they have given one example. This is taken from Apt Pariksha. All the four designations have been applied in a single example. Okay. When someone is named jinn without regard to possessing the actual qualities of a jinn, it is an example of Naam Jinn. Okay. Designation by name. Although he is only named as Jinn or he is only named as Mahavir, or in reality, he may not be that brave enough, he might be a coward, but he is given the name of Mahavir. Okay. So that is called designation by name. So this designation by name has got no relation with the actual meaning of the name. Okay. It is just the name has been given for identification. When a jinn idol is consecrated and established through installation rituals, it is called Sthapna jinn, designation by representation. When a soul has the potential to become a jinn due to its inherent capability or spiritual nature, it is Dravya jinn, designation by substance. Although he is not now a Tirthankar or a jinn or a Aryant now, but he has the potential to become jinn in future. Okay. So he is called jinn by Dravya jinn, designation by substance. And when a jinn is present and preaching in the divine preaching assembly, Samo Sarana, it is Bhav jinn, designation by present state or mode. So all these four modes of explanation are expressed just to know the Ratnatray, the three jewels, and the seven fundamental elements. Okay. So seven fundamental elements and the three jewels are understood and explained on the basis of these 4 nikshep. One should engage in process of understanding and explaining them through this framework. By doing so, a true and clear understanding of these tattvas is formed. Nam, sthapna, dravya, nikshep are subjects of the real viewpoint, dravyarthik nay. So, dravyarthik nay is also called substance viewpoint. Okay. While bhav nikshep is the subject of model viewpoint or mode viewpoint, paryarthik nay. Okay. So, when one gains correct understanding of these niksheps, then the conventional description of right belief and other components of the 3 jewels, as well as the soul and other elements begin to make true sense in light of these distinctions. Okay. So now we will move on to the next. The tools, 3 types of tools are being explained here. Aphorisms number 6, 7, and 8. Out of this first 6, it is for people who have got limited capability of intellect, limited time. For them, these 2 are sufficient to know the 7 fundamentals and the 3 jewels. Okay. What it is? Praman and Nai. Praman is comprehensive, valid knowledge. Okay. And Nai is viewpoint. So these are the 2 tools that we use for knowing the 7 fundamentals and the 3 jewels.
Sir, I
Yeah.
just have a question.
Hmm.
So when we did this thing about designation by name, I just
Hmm.
had a thought. So usually when we have children, some people say that they should be named after our Tirthankars, and some say that no, we should not. Is there any
No connection, no connection. Because designation by name states that it's not necessary that somebody named Mahavir should be very brave or something like that. It's just an identification for uh, running our conventional life,
Yeah. So my
That's all.
aunt, when she named her son Dushabh, she told me कि घड़ी घड़ी मैं भगवान और नाम लेसु. But that feeling has to come, right, from within.
It has got no connection. It's just a name, nothing more. Okay. So some name has to be given. So it's good that usually in our Jainism, in our family, we put names like such.
Okay.
Right? We don't put name like John, David, and something like that. Right? We put names which are like, Shreyans, Rushabh, then Nemi.
Okay.
So usually we use it that way. Somebody names name like Moksha, then Anargya, Samkit, all these names which are somewhere related to the religion. The idea is that to have uh, sanskars in them of religion. So basically, those people who are very much inclined in the religion, they only name such things. Otherwise, those who are not connected with the religion, they name something which is very relevant in the present context, like some celebrities. Uh, my name was Rajesh. Why? Because at that time, Rajesh Khanna was very popular.
Great.
So somebody would name Sachin because Sachin Tendulkar is now a legend right now. So it's like that, different people have different kinds of thought process.
So we
they
also name on scriptures. Dhawla, it's such a nice name.
ah,
Agam. So such names.
Agam.
We have really nice names. We don't keep names like Dayaram and some all those
Yeah,
kinds
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
names.
definitely. Even those names also in Hindu, they also have come from this mythology only, right? So everyone tries to, try to get connected to the religion some way or the other. So mostly the names are such, If you read Pratman Yog, you will find many different names, We don't know such names, but these are there. So from there only these names are being adapted. although they have a literal meaning for each name, you know. In Sanskrit, whatever names we have given, like Rajesh. So Raja jo aish kare, you know. So Hemali would be also having some meaning. Hina means Mehendi, you know. So each name has some literal meaning also, but not necessarily it carries those qualities in them. Okay. So two solutions, Praman and Nai. Praman is valid comprehensive knowledge. Now you could see that in the beginning they have written valid comprehensive knowledge. Now further they will name only valid knowledge, but you have to apply the whole name valid comprehensive knowledge because that makes sense. Okay. And Nai is viewpoint. Okay. So these are the two tools which is being used to know these three jewels and the fundamental 7 elements. A proper answer to this question is given by the following sutra. Praman Nayari Adhigama. Adhigama means to know or the knowledge. The knowledge of the three jewels and the fundamental elements like soul, etc. is attained through means of valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints. So these are the two tools, okay, that we will apply to know the 7 fundamental elements and to know the three jewels. Okay, what is this valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoint? So what is this valid comprehensive knowledge? I'll give you an example for you to understand in a simple term. Supposing there is an auditorium where a orator is speaking on some topic and there are some audiences who are listening to him. So you enter that auditorium with a video camera in your hand, and what you see on entering is a valid comprehensive knowledge, where you could see the orator also, you could see the audiences also. Okay, all simultaneously, nothing is being highlighted and nothing is being ignored. Okay, everything is highlighted. Okay, nothing is ignored. So that is called comprehensive valid knowledge. Now, you take the focus of that camera towards the orator. Okay, you see his expression, you see his enthusiasm, all these, you know, how honest he is in his talks, you know, we can do face readings and all. So all these will happen by applying the viewpoint. Okay, so this is called viewpoint. Then use take the focus of that camera, video camera, towards the audience, and you zeroed in on the particular audience, whether he or she is listening seriously, or he's or she is getting bored, or he's feeling sleepy, you know. So that is again a viewpoint. Okay, similarly you take it towards another audience, like that. So then you have an overall idea of what's going on in the auditorium. You can see the decoration in the auditorium, whatever. So this is called viewpoints. When you are focusing on a particular aspect of the whole scenario, it is called viewpoint. So once you put focus on one aspect, then on another aspect, then on another aspect. So when you summarize all these, when you make a total of all these focuses, it becomes valid comprehensive knowledge. Now you have a better idea what's going on in the auditorium, right? So there is a very good orator over there. The audiences are very mesmerized. They are very keen, listening very sincerely. Okay, all this relates that the person who is giving the lecture is of great credentials. Okay, so this is called valid, comprehensive, valid knowledge and viewpoint. So viewpoint is a part of valid comprehensive knowledge. Okay, it's just a part, not the whole thing. Valid comprehensive knowledge highlights everything. It doesn't ignore anything. But viewpoint, there is a speciality. It highlights one part and ignores all other. All other becomes secondary and one part becomes primary. Okay, so that is the function of the viewpoints. So without applying viewpoint, we cannot have a proper knowledge of a particular aspect of the whole thing. Okay, For that reason, we need to apply viewpoints. So the other day we studied about the real point of view and conventional point of view, and the subdivisions, 4 divisions of conventional point of view, and then 4 divisions of real point of view. Do you remember? And gradually we moved from number 1 to number 8. Number 8 was supreme real point of view, param shuddha nischay nay. And the focus of that viewpoint was Trikadi Dhruv Bhagwan Atma. Okay. So the purpose was to take you from the first viewpoint towards 8th viewpoint, wherein the focus is only the Bhagwan Atma, and when you establish oneness with that is the time you manifest the right belief. Okay. So these viewpoints are very essential for realizing the self. Okay. And when you are not realizing the self, when you are involved in, say, sensual pleasures, or when you are working for something on, then at that point of time, the comprehensive knowledge continues. Okay. So comprehensive knowledge, once it manifests, it keeps on going on and going on and going on. Only when it is the time to apply viewpoints, when you want to realize yourself, you apply viewpoints. When you want to know the modification part, that how much is the purity and how much of the purity that is left over, all these, then you have to apply the viewpoint. Okay. So both tools, the comprehensive valid knowledge and the viewpoints, are interchangeably used to navigate this spiritual journey. Okay. We cannot have only one and serve our purpose. No, we need to have both. At times we will use valid comprehensive knowledge, and at times we will use viewpoints, depending on the situation that we are in. Okay. So I'll read the explanation. The knowledge of the 3 jewels and the fundamental elements like soul, etc., is attained through means of valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints. According to Abhinav Dharma Bhushan, Yati's Nyay Deepika, only right knowledge is valid knowledge. So Samyak Gyan Pramanam. Okay. Only right knowledge is valid comprehensive knowledge. So what is the right knowledge? Can anyone answer? What are the 3 blemishes that the right knowledge is devoid of? Jia, you remember? In Chedala we read this, and then in Vitrag Vigyan also it was there. What is the right knowledge? Himali?
So free of sanshaya.
Very good.
And
Doubt?
yeah, sanshaya, viparya, and
Devasai.
Devasai, yeah.
So devoid of doubt, perversity, and indecision. Okay. So that is the characteristics of a right knowledge. What is another characteristics of a right knowledge? It illuminates the self and the non-self distinctly. Swapar ka bhed vigyan. Okay. So that is the right knowledge. So that right knowledge is the valid knowledge. Okay. Valid comprehensive knowledge. So there are 5 divisions of that valid comprehensive knowledge. Okay. And then there are 3 which are false knowledge. Okay. So here only we are discussing the valid comprehensive knowledge. These are 5 are Mati Gyan. Okay. Mati Gyan is sensory knowledge. Then Shrud Gyan, scriptural knowledge. Avdi Gyan, clairvoyance knowledge. Manaparya Gyan, telepathy knowledge. And the last is Keval Gyan, omniscience knowledge. These 5 are all forms of right knowledge and are considered valid comprehensive knowledge. Praman Gyan. However, Shrut Gyan is unique in that while being a form of Praman, it also functions as Nai knowledge from a partial viewpoint. So these viewpoints are part of scriptural knowledge. Okay. Praman Gyan is also a part of scriptural knowledge, because Praman Gyan, all the five are Praman Gyan. Okay. Mati, Srut, Avdi, Manapre, and Keval Gyan. But Shrut Gyan particular, the scriptural knowledge, is also a Praman, and it also contains the viewpoints. So in sensory knowledge, the viewpoints are not applied. Only in scriptural knowledge, the viewpoints are applied. Okay. It also functions as knowledge from a partial viewpoint. The canonical statement, Srut Vikalpa Naya, affirms this, that the various interpretations derived from Shrut Gyan are known as Nayas. Okay. So, this is what we need to know about this aphorism number 6, Praman and Nay. Now we will skip this explanation. It's not very relevant. You can read it as homework if you want. Otherwise, it's okay. Now we move on to the next page 35 in Hindi, and in English it is 36. Statements on directives, Nirdesh Adi Ka Kathan. So this is solution number 2. Okay. Solution number 1 was Praman and Nay. Solution number 2, statement on directives. Okay. So we will have 6 points into this. Okay. Nirdesh, designation, then Swamitva, ownership, then means, sadhan, then adhikaran, that is substratum. Substratum means basis. Okay. Then we have sthiti, duration, and the last is vidhan, system or classifications. Okay. So these 6 tools are also being applied to know the 7 fundamentals and the 3 jewels. This is solution number 2. So why get into so much of details when our purpose is being solved by Praman and Nay, right? So the Acharya says that there are different kinds of people. So those who are less intellect, those who have very little time, for them we have subscribed, for them we have recommended this Praman and Nay only. Okay. But those who are those who have more time and more intellect, okay, for them we have given the solution number 2, having 6 points, designation, etc. Okay. And those who are very highly intellect and those who have much time at their disposal, for them solution number 3 is there. Okay, where there are 8 points. Okay. Now the interesting part is, even when you apply solution number 2, you have to apply Praman and Nay everywhere. Okay. So Praman and Nay remains common across 3. Okay. And that is sufficient to realize yourself, to know the 7 fundamentals, to manifest 3 jewels. It's sufficient. But those who have time, so many scriptures have been written on the second solution and the third solution, like Shat Khandagam. Shat Khandagam is based on the third solution. Okay. And then we have some scriptures based on the second solution also. Very long scriptures. You know, even Acharyas have written this. So those who have time at their disposal, they can do studies of those scriptures also. And those scriptures will also help him to learn about the 7 fundamentals and the 3 jewels. Okay. But our purpose is being solved. And in those scriptures also, they have used at length Praman and Nay. These tools are common across 3 solutions. Okay. So solution number 2. Okay. Amita ji, you read statement on directives.
Statement on directives, Nirdeshadi ka Kathan.
Hmm.
The right belief, knowledge, and conduct, the 3 jewels and soul, and other elements are to be known through valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints. and their practical applications are carried out through the classifications of categories of expressions, nikshepas, like name, naam, installation, sthapna, etc. To explain what exactly should be known regarding right belief, etc., and the soul and other elements. Nirdesha, Swamitva, Sadhana, Adhikaran, Sthiti, Vidhanta, Vidhant. The truths such as right belief, Samyak Darshan, and the realities like the soul, Jiva, should be understood through designation, Nirdesh. Ownership, Swamitva, means sadhana, substratum, adhikaran, duration, sthiti, and system of classification, vidhan. The intent is that, thank you, Emily. The intent is that in order to properly understand the three jewels, right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct, as well as the elements like soul, jiv, etc., one must comprehend these associated categories. 1. Designation, nirdesh, refers to the statement or description of the true nature of the substance. 2. Ownership. Swamitva refers to lordship or sovereignty over the substance. 3. Means, sadhana, refers to the cause or means by which a substance originates. 4. Substratum. Adhikaran refers to the base or supporting locus of the substance. 5. Duration, sthiti, refers to the length of time for which the substance persists. 6. System or classification, vidhan, refers to the method, types, or elaboration related to the substance. If one wishes to know or describe any substance, it becomes necessary to understand the following. What is its name? Who is its owner? By what means is it produced? Where does it reside? Sorry, I forgot to read the Hindi words. Who is its owner? Swami. By what means, sadhana, is it produced? Where does it reside? Adhikaran. What is its duration, sthiti, or time limit? And what are its types and subtypes, vidhan? All these needs to be known. In the same way, if we wish to understand right belief, right knowledge, right conduct, and the elements such as soul, non-soul, influx, bondage, stoppage, dissociation, and liberation, then we must know about each of them through these 6 aspects. Their designation, nirdesh, ownership, swamitva, cause or means, sadhana, base or location, adhikaran, duration, sthiti, and classification, vidhan.
Stop. So you see, this is the solution number 2. Okay. Nirdesh is nothing but name. Designation is name. Refers to the statement or description of the true nature of a substance. So you see, what is its name? So that that answer will come from Nirdesh. Okay. Then who is its owner? Swami. So ownership, it will come from ownership. Refers to lordship or sovereignty of the substance. So these are the 6 tools for knowing the substance. Okay. So if you know a particular substance from these 6 perspectives, you will be able to have a very fair knowledge of the nature of the substance. Okay. Where does it reside? No, by what means? That is sadhan. Is it produced? So sadhan is means, refer to the cause or means by which a substance originates. Then the 4th one is adhikaran, substratum, refers to the base or the supporting locus of the substance. Then duration, sthiti, what is its duration or time limit? Refers to the length of time for which the substance persists. And the last one is vidhan. Vidhan means classification, types and subtypes. Okay. All these can be known through these 6 tools. Okay. So you will have a very good understanding of the substance if you apply these 6 tools on it. Okay. So this much of description is enough for you to know the nature of the substance. And when you know the substance as it is, then only your knowledge becomes right. Okay. So So knowing these 7 fundamentals and 3 jewels, these 6 tools are applied as a means, as a solution number 2. Now we are coming on to the solution number 3 in the aphorism number 8. Statement on existence and number, etc. Sat, Sankhya, Adi. Okay. So etc. is meaning, we can write down statement on existence and number, comma, etc. Hindi it is written Sat and Sankhya Adi. Okay.
Sir,
Hmm.
I didn't understand only this, sir. Sir,
What?
so the previous topic on knowing the true nature of the substance, I understood.
Hmm.
So they are saying that to understand the soul, we need to ask these questions, right?
Any substance, not only soul, but any substance. Even if you want to know the matter, you have to apply these 6 tools.
But sir, how do we know? Like, how do we know what is the base or the supporting locus of the substance for the
So
soul?
where it is based? Now suppose we are talking about the soul, right? So soul is right now in this body only, right? Soul is not somewhere else apart from this body.
Yeah.
So you have to look at the body. Okay. And again, soul is existing in the present modification. Where you will meet the soul? In your present modification. The manifestations that you are having every moment, there only you will realize your soul. So in this way, they find the basis on which the substance you can locate.
So what about ownership?
Ownership. Who is the owner? Right? For any
Mm.
substance to exist, there has to be an owner. So now supposing we have made this, the potter has made this vessel, earthenware vessel. Okay. Now who is the owner? Okay. So from real point of view, that mud itself is the owner of that jar, right? From conventional point of view, the potter is the owner, right? So we also need to know who is the owner, okay? From conventional point of view also and the real point of view. So as I said, although these 6 tools are there to know, but here also you have to apply the valid knowledge, comprehensive valid knowledge and the viewpoints also.
So then there have to be 7 questions, no? Because we studied that everything has 7 questions in Saptamani. There are only 6 here.
So that was on a particular viewpoint, okay?
Okay.
And this is about the general substance in all. Hmm. So, okay. So now we move on to the third solution, that is statement of existence and number. Jia,
Sir,
you
I have
read.
a question, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
अभी ये 6 पॉइंट्स को लेके ही
हाँ,
सेल्फ का क्या होगा? जैसे आपने मड का बताया, मड इज
हाँ,
द ओनर बाय इटसेल्फ, एंड देन कन्वेंशनल पॉइंट द पॉटर. तो
potter.
सेल्फ के लिए क्या होगा?
किसके लिए?
सेल्फ.
Self.
हाँ.
Self के लिए we are the owner.
We are self.
Yes, I am the owner of myself.
Okay.
I exist in my Dravya, Kshetra, Kal, Bhav. Substance, space, time, and mode. I never go out of these 4 dimensions: substance, space, time, and mode. We have been transmigrating since time immemorial, but we never stepped out of our 4-dimensional existence. Okay. So, although many things have happened since time immemorial, but we have not changed. We remain the same in our own 4 dimensions. We never go out. Okay. So that brings in a very, we can say, a comfort level in us, that although we have transmigrated, but looking at our original nature, we have not changed. We have remained as it is. Even when we get liberated, we don't change. We remain as it is. In this body also, we are different from this body. We have not touched this body. We have not touched any karmas. Okay. we have been transmigrating, but we have not touched any of the bodies that we occupied, you know, in the past. So you have to the all things culminate in here, that you have to know your own substance. How, who are you, how you function, what is things that you can do, what you cannot do. Okay. So primary objective is to know the soul, but along with soul, there are other 5 substances also. Okay. So matter is there, then medium of motion is there, medium of rest is there, then we have time and space, Akash. Okay. So all this.
Yes. Thank you.
Now the third solution. So these two solutions, solution number 2 and solution number 3, are not popular. Those are there in the scriptures, but nobody goes beyond these tools of valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints, because that serves our purpose. Okay.
Okay.
So solution number 3. Now, Gia, you read. Statement. Yeah. Your internet connection, I think, is not good. Or only I am having disturbance.
No, sir, we can't.
There is disturbance.
So you listen only, Gia. Madhuji, aap padhiye.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Statement on existence and number. That is Sat and oh, she's not able to hear, sir. She's continuing.
His image is freezed. So internet
Yeah, yeah.
connection, yeah.
She's
You continue, no
continuing.
problem.
Yes, sir. Number 3, statement on existence and number, etc. That is Sat and Sankhyadi. In addition to understanding the designation, Nirdesh, and other categories related to the right belief, etc., 3 jewels and the real entities, Tattvartha, such as soul, etc., one must also know existence. Sat, number, Sankhya, and related aspects. One should also understand the 3 jewels like right belief, etc., and the real elements like soul, etc., from the aspects of existence, Sat, number, Sankhya, space or location, Kshetra, touch or contact, Sparshana, time, Kal, difference or distinction, that is Antara, state or condition, Bhav, and fewness or manyness, Alpa, Bahut. Bahutva. Number 1, the existence of a substance is called Sat. Second, the count of distinctions or types within a substance is called Sankhya. Number 3, the current location or abode of a substance is called Kshetra. 4, the location across all 3 times, that is past, present, future, related to a substance is called Sparshana. 5, the duration of stay of a substance is called Kal. 6, the interval of separation, that is absence between 2 appearances or existences of a substance is called Antara. 7, the dispositions such as those arising from suppression, Opshamika, destruction, Kshaika, etc. are called Bhav. 8, the description of inferiority or superiority of one substance is in comparison to another is called Alpa Bahutva. A possible question may arise here. In the 7th aphorism, the categories such as designation, nirdesh, etc. already include existence, that is Sat. Designation, nirdesh includes existence, Sat. Classification, vidhana includes number, that is Sankhya. Location, adhikarana includes location, kshetra and sparshana. And the topic of duration, sthiti, includes kal. Therefore, what is the need for 3 separate aphorisms? The only answer to the above question is that disciples are of 3 types. 1, those inclined towards brevity. 2, those of moderate inclination. 3, those inclined towards detailed exposition. For those inclined towards brevity, The knowledge gained through means of valid knowledge, praman, and viewpoints alone is sufficient. For those of moderate inclination, in addition to praman and Nai, it is necessary to explain categories like designation, ownership, means, etc. That is Nirdesh Adi. But for those inclined towards detailed understanding, the inclusion of aspects like existence, number, etc. is also essential. Therefore, keeping in mind all three types of disciples, three aphorisms have been composed here. Through valid means of knowledge, praman, and viewpoints, nay, and the practical application of the four categories of expression, one should understand the right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct, etc. Conduct, as well as the seven fundamental realities, that is tattvartha, soul, non-soul, influx, bondage, stoppage, disassociation, and liberation, along with their designation, nitesh, ownership, Swamitva, etc., and also existence, Sat, Sankhya, and number, that is, and other related aspects. As a result,
Stop.
yes,
So this much first we will understand. So here 8 tools are given. Okay. Sat, Sankhya, Kshetra, Sparshan, Kal, Antar, Bhav, Alpabhutva. Okay. So these 8 are divided into 4 pairs, 2 each. Okay. So first one is related to substance. Okay. A substance has got 2 aspects. One is general, another is specific. Samanya, Vises. Substance from the general aspect and substance from the specific aspect. Then the second two are 3 and 4 are from the space point of view. Space, again general and specific. Then time, general, specific. And then nature, general, specific. Okay. So every substance has 4 dimensions, as I said: Dravya, Kshetra, Kal, Bhav. We never go out of this. Okay. Not a single substance goes out of this 4-dimensional entity. Okay. Dravya, Kshetra, Kal, Bhav. So each is having 2. Okay. One is a general explanation, another one is specific. So now we will see in this perspective, then you will be able to understand better. Now the first one, the substance. In the general sense, the existence of a substance is called Sat. Okay. The existence means Sat, Astitva. Okay. Is called Sat. Then the second is the count of distinctions or types within a substance is called Sankhya. So Sat and Sankhya are both related to substance. One is a general form, another is a specific form. Okay. Then the third and the fourth one are related to space. The current location or abode of a substance is called Kshetra. Okay. The location across all 3 times, past, present, future, related to a substance is called spurs. So no matter where we have been in 1 sense, 2 sense, 3 sense, 4 sense, 5 sense, we have been transmigrating. But this touch sense was always there. Even when we were 1 sensed, only the touch sense was there. That is called sparsh. Okay. When we were 2 sensed being, we had touch and taste, spurs and ras. Okay. When we were 3 sensed, we had spurs, ras, gandh, smell also. Okay. Then when we were 4 sensed, then we had spurs, ras, gandh, varna. Okay. Eyes also. And then 5 sense being when we were, then spurs, ras, gandh, varna, and ear, shabda. Okay. So this is how the development was there. But 1 sense being also the spurs was there. So this is the specific. So the common one, general, is Kshetra and the specific is spurs. Okay. That is from the space point of view. Now the 5th and the 6th one is from the time point of view. Okay. General and specific. General is the duration of a stay of a substance is called Kal. Okay. So now we are in this human life with a fixed age. Okay. The moment that age will be over, we have to leave this body. Okay. So we are all here for a fixed duration. We are not here permanently, right? We are all here for a fixed duration. All these associations that we have got is also for a fixed period of time. Do you remember which birth you were in your earlier life? Nobody knows, right? There is no system to remember. Our memory does not carry forward, all these memories, worldly memories. But whatever you do in terms of spiritual upliftment, that will remain with you when you go to the next life. If you manifest the 3 jewels right now, in the next life, you will be carrying forward those 3 jewels. You will be carrying forward the understanding that you have developed. Forget about the right belief. Even if you don't manifest right belief, whatever understanding you have done here in this life, that will carry forward. We never know. We had also earlier done these things, okay? But somehow we got distracted. Now again, we are all connected back, okay? There was no, means this all has happened very suddenly. Nobody would have thought that we would get this access to this kind of scriptures, okay? No interest, nothing, but somehow the connections came and we are all into this kind of studies. So all this says that the past connections were there. Now we are continuing, we are building upon those past impressions, okay? The 6th point is again related to time, but it is specific, the interval of separation. Absence between 2 appearances or existence of a substance is called antar. It is also called vigragati. Okay, you leave this body and within 3 samay you acquire another body. Okay, maximum is 3 samay, but during the transitory phase is called vigragati, interval of separation. Okay, so that is also related to time. One is the present life that we have, and the other will be the transitory phase. And within that 3 samay, you will acquire another body. So another life will start. Okay. Similarly, this will keep on happening. Okay. So this is also one of the ways to know a substance. Then from the nature, inherent nature, swabhav. So general, what is this general? The disposition as such as those arising from suppression, opshamik bhav, then destruction, shaik bhav, then we have shayapshamik bhav, destruction comes subsidence, and then we have odik bhav, the rise of karmas. Okay, so all these are the general, comes in the general nature. Okay, and what is specific? The description of inferiority or superiority of one substance in comparison to another is called alpa bahutva. Okay, so these are the 8 tools to know a particular substance. And why we want to know that particular substance? Because we want to manifest the 3 jewels and we want to know the 7 fundamental elements. Okay, so all these overlap each other as is explained in the next paragraph, that in the 7th aphorism, the categories such as designation, etc. already include existence. Designation includes existence, classification includes number, location includes location and sparsh, kshetra and sparsha, and the topic of duration includes kal. Okay, so these are all overlapping. Okay, so why 3 different solutions? Because the disciples are of 3 categories. Those inclines towards brevity, shangshipt ruchi. Okay, very less intellect and less time. For them, sutra number 6 was there. Those of moderate inclination, the madhyam ruchi wale, 7th was there. And those inclined toward detailed exposition, aphorism number 8, vistar ruchi wale. Okay, so different types of disciples and different types of solutions. So the first one, only the valid knowledge and viewpoints are sufficient. For the second one, the 6 tools are okay. And for the third one, 8 tools are mentioned. Therefore, keeping in mind all 3 types of disciples, 3 aphorisms have been composed. Sorry, 3 aphorisms have been composed here. Through valid means of knowledge, that is praman, comprehensive valid knowledge and viewpoints, and the practical application of the 4 categories of expression, that is 4 modes of explanation. 4 modes of explanation. One should understand the right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct, as well as the 7 fundamental realities: soul, non-soul, influx, bondage, stoppage, dissociation, liberation. Along with their designation, ownership, etc., and also existence, sat, sankhya, existence, number, and other related aspects. So if you know this way, you will have a very clear understanding of the substance. And when you have a clear understanding of the substance, your decisions are correct and you manifest right belief.
Sir,
As a result,
sir, I have a question. When we say that when we do samayik, we should reflect on our soul. Are
yes.
these the types of thoughts that we should be thinking? Are these the contexts that we should be thinking of our soul at that time? What does it mean when people say reflect on your soul?
So reflect on your soul, you reflect in the various characteristics of the soul. You reflect on the 4 dimensions of the soul, Dravya, Shiktra, Kal, Bhav, any detail about the soul. So during the time of Samayik, your active consciousness is involved only on thinking about the soul, right? Soul is like this, soul is like this, soul is like this. So from next Sunday, we are starting Samaisar. Okay. So we will be only for 1 year only, we will be talking about the soul from different parameters, different aspects, different perspectives. Okay. So, so this is how you come to know about the soul. Only by practice, you will be able to correctly identify the identity of the soul. Okay. And when you are understanding and the present, in the present modification, okay, that your own soul will come into what we call, come into the picture, okay, come into your knowledge, and there you have to identify I am this, and then the self-realization happens. Okay. So through the scriptures, we are knowing the different characteristics of the soul. Soul is like this, soul is like this, soul is like this. So when it will come in front of you in your knowledge, in your modification knowledge, okay, you'll be able to make that judgment that I am this, because I have read in the scriptures that soul is like this, soul is unchangeable, soul is complete in itself, soul is pure. Okay. So all these different characteristics that we learn through the scriptures, that will come in handy when you will realize yourself. Okay. So this is what you do in Samayik. And even after self-realization also, you do such things only because you feel that there is nothing in matter for me. My happiness lies in me. So what is the point in going deep into the matter substance? So again, after self-realization also, people generally connect with their self. So they read scriptures which fosters their self, you know. So that is how the journey continues. Then you become a monk. So now you have renounced your family, your house, everything. Now only focus is your soul, because monk have no other functions. When you become a monk, your only function is to know your soul. So once in a day you go for alms, otherwise you come and just get yourself engrossed in the self. And with this practice, a time will come when you will be able to focus on your soul for a longer period of time, like say maximum is 48 minutes. It could be anything between 1 minute to 1 second to 48 minutes. Antar Murat. Okay. So if you are able to focus on your soul, you will manifest omniscience knowledge. So everything is going to evolve from your own entity. Nothing is going to come from outside. Okay. So this journey we have to go once, and then we will get liberated. And this world will go on like this. Okay. So this is what we are into. Okay. We never knew that we are into such kind of things where we will be manifesting happiness for infinite time, no miseries, no experience of miseries, only happiness, happiness, happiness.
That
So
is
this,
Siddhavastha, no, sir?
yes, Siddhavastha. Then you get liberated.
Yeah.
So then you don't come back to this universe again and take birth in different state of existence. So as a result, the reader's knowledge of the realities will become pure and clear. See, as a result, if you explore on these dimensions, all these dimensions, the knowledge of the realities, Tattvat Gyan, will become pure and clear. As you read again and again, it will become clear and clear. That's why repetition is very much required. Only 2 hours a week class will not do. Every day you have to study this. Okay. There are reference scriptures available, as I said. Okay. One that I would recommend is Moksha Shastra. Is written by Ramjibai Doshi. It has been published from Songad. It has got a very detailed explanation of Tattva Sutras, all aphorisms. Okay. It's a very good scriptures. In that you will find detailed explanation of all this. The 6 tools and the 8th tools that we read just now, all those detailed explanation you will find. And if nothing is there, then you go to Shatkhandagam. In Shatkhandagam, all these Sat, Sankhya, 8 tools that we discussed, there are 8 chapters on this. 1 chapter for each description. So you can imagine how much details is available if you want to explore. So you have to find time for that, right? So then you have to retire from business or job, and then you will find time to read those scriptures. Okay. So doing job, managing the family, and then again pursuing your own self-interest of knowing the soul. Such a struggle, but this struggle is the ultimate struggle. And the result of this struggle is that you will become happy forever. So this is an exercise one time you have to do, whether we do this in this birth or so in some other, the process would be the same. So better we do it right now only, right? Nobody is forcing us to do something else right now. It's our choice what we want to do. At certain level, money is okay. But beyond that level, even if you have 1 crore, you still eat chapati and rice only, right? And if you have 100 crores, you still eat that only. Nobody eats gold in its lunch, right? Gold, diamonds, nobody eats that. So it's again depending on your choice. But if you compare yourself with your friend, she is having 100 billions and I'm having only 1 billion. So I have to work up to that level. Okay. So you have a target. So you keep on working. And then you find another friend who is having 1000 billion. So again, you are in that rat race. So this is what's happening. We have all got limited time in this birth. You will never have another second, 1 second more than what you are eligible, right? That's the truth. But nobody realizes this, and everybody is after that rat race. So that's why we have very few students here. Not only here, but in my other course also, happiness, the students, the number of people who join and the number of people who ultimately continue is very less. It always will remain the same. Because once you enter into this kind of studies, you get liberated very soon. It's just 2-3 births. It's not that we have been transmigrating since time immemorial. So another time immemorial will take for us to get liberated. It's not like that. The moment you get into this path of liberation, it's just 2-4 births. So it's so easy to get liberated. It's so difficult to get into again that cycle of transmigration. So it's like that. as a result, the reader's knowledge of the realities will become pure and clear. Okay, as you read more, it becomes more pure and more clarity, and equipped with faith and knowledge in the fundamental realities. Now, the evolution of faith is very important. You may know the facts, but you should have belief in that, right? So belief is very important. Equipped with faith and knowledge in the fundamental realities, attachments and aversion will be renounced. Okay, once you have faith and knowledge in the fundamental realities, attachment and aversions will be renounced. Attachment and aversions were manifesting because of delusion. If you get rid of delusion, automatically this attachment and aversions will be gradually going away. The first stage, the Anantanubandhi will go. Okay, and then Apratyakhan will go, then Pratyakhan will go, and then Sanjalan will go. All the passions will go away and you will get liberated. Thus, the path to liberation composed of the three jewels will become well established and illuminated. So we all want to illuminate this. There is no other purpose. This life, ab ki baar, Atma Gyan. You know, ab ki baar Modi Sarkar, no Modi Sarkar. Ab ki baar Atma Gyan. Nothing else. No other agenda on this life, right? Only Tattva Gyan, Tattva Gyan, and Tattva Gyan. Subjects such as designation and related categories. You know, I realized all this. That's why I was able to leave the business. I left business 15 years ago. I was into full-time business just like you all. Morning to evening, whole day into business. And then I realized that I don't require so much of money. So if I left something, I'm getting something. Everywhere it's same, you know. You have to put in efforts in the right direction to get that result. So choice is ours only, right? So at the end of the day, how good are you? You are good for the choices you make, right? So we all have got choices. We can choose to have watch TV right now or get into this kind of studies. You have the choice, right? So before joining this Parmagam Honors course, what you were doing? You're doing something at this point of time, but not studying, right? So now you have got this opportunity and you have to make most of this opportunity, because we never know when again we will get a birth in a Jain family. Even if I get a birth in Jain family, then who has got the interest to study all this? Even if I have the interest, I had to have the means, right? Then you have got a Parmagam Honors course, which is so professionally teaching you all this, right? And you have developed interest. That is again very rare. And developing the interest, understanding it, and then the final is the decision-making power. So it is the decision-making power that is very important. People know all these knowledges also, but then they lack in making decisions about this, right? So if you understand something nicely, the next step would be taking the right decision, right? And if you take the decisions, you are there. So all depends on your decision-making power. Subjects such as designation and related categories, nirdesh adi, and existence and number are of such depth, now see coming, are of such depth and importance that great treatises have been composed based upon them. So many scriptures. For instance, on the basis of existence and numbers aphorism, Sat Sankhya, that is number 8, monumental scriptures like the Shat Khandagam were written. The very names of its sections, chapters, are also titled accordingly, such as presentation of existence, Sat Prarupana, then presentation of number, Sankhya Prarupana. So all the 8 words that we used in the aphorism number 8, there are 8 chapters in Shat Khandagam. A possible question may arise here in the text like Sarvat Siddhi. Okay, so Sarvat Siddhi explains this Nirdesh Adi, Swami Adi, and all. Designation, ownership, etc. etc. is missing. You can write down. in text like Sarva Siddhi, designation, comma, ownership, comma, etc. So one category this 6 tools and another category 8 tools, and existence, comma, number, etc. have been described as a upayantar. Auxiliary means you can cut down the word auxiliary and you can write alternative means or methods of knowing. Okay, so these are the alternate methods. One is comprehensive valid knowledge and viewpoints. The second is designation, ownership, etc. The third is existence, number, etc. Okay, so these are alternate means of knowing the substance. But from your exposition, it seems though these are not means of knowledge, but rather they are the entities that are to be known. So this is the question that has been asked, okay, to Dr. Bharilji, okay. The answer is, oh brother, both views are essentially saying the same thing, okay, because as we have seen that the tools mentioned in aphorism number 7 and tools mentioned in number 8, they both overlap, okay. In the Sankhya, the time is also included. In the space, the locations are included, okay. So we saw all these. So, oh brother, both views are essentially saying the same thing. There is no contradiction. But first you must understand the matter deeply. When we wish to know someone thoroughly or to gain a detailed understanding of a person, we generally decide on certain fixed points or categories of inquiry. Then based on this point, we ask, what is your name? Where do you work? Who is your superior authority? What are your duties and responsibility? What is your educational qualification? And so on. In the same way, what is being said here is that in order to gain a proper understanding of the substances like soul, etc., and the three jewels of right faith, etc., one must know the following key aspects: their name or designation, who possesses them, how they are attained, uh, where they reside, exit, where and how for how long they remain, what are their types, distinctions, and modes. And to gain an even deeper understanding, one must know the existence, the number, etc., etc., 8 tools. Okay. By knowing this, we attain a profound comprehension of the three jewels and the 7 fundamental entities. In the same way, we should also be aware whether their name is meaningful or merely nominal. Nam sthapna. Whether they are just a symbol or representative. Sthapna nikshep. Nam nikshep, sthapna nikshep. Whether they are eternally or so or changing. Dravya nikshep and bhav nikshep. All this knowledge is obtained through valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints. Therefore, valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints are the true means of knowing. The remaining matters, such as what right knowledge knows, how it knows, and why it knows, are special characteristics of the knowable objects. Knowable objects means gne, okay. To explain this very point, they are referred to as alternate means, upayantar, in works like Sarvat Siddhi, etc. There is no difference in the two versions. So Sarvat Siddhi is a commentary on Tattvat Sutra. Okay. As I said, there are 100 commentaries on Tattvat Sutra. Our life is very limited. Okay. So we have this Dr. Bharilji's commentary on Tattvat Sutra as a syllabus. All in all, the clear conclusion is this: the truth-seeking aspirant who desires self-liberation will indeed know, and they will only know only through valid knowledge and viewpoints. They will come to know the fundamental realities like soul, as well as the path to liberation in the form of right belief, etc., as expounded through the 4 nikshepsas such as names, thapna, etc. They will also understand that designation, ownership means then means sadhana, etc. And the third category, existence, number, and other aspects of souls, etc. And the three jewels, Ratnatraya. In this way, the means of knowing is indeed right knowledge in the form of valid knowledge and viewpoints. All the rest are merely modes of knowing, attributes of the knowable objects. Gnay. This is precisely the intended meaning behind calling them alternate means. And we too have no objection to stating it in this way. We have said nothing new, only provided a clarification of that very same point. That right knowledge is of 5 types, namely sensory knowledge and the others, whose discussion will follow sequentially in the upcoming aphorisms. This discussion will continue until the end of the section. In the final aphorisms of the chapter, there will also be discussions on the viewpoints. Before that, almost the entire exposition will be in the context of valid knowledge, praman. So now we will be exploring the valid comprehensive knowledge, divisions and subdivisions. So this will start from aphorism number 9 and it will continue up to 32. All the 5 types of knowledge. Okay. Comprehensive valid knowledge. Okay. So this comprehensive valid knowledge, we'll read this. I'll explain you in very short. Okay. So this comprehensive valid knowledge is of 2 types, direct and indirect. Pratyaksh and paroksh. Pratyaksh is direct and paroksh is indirect. Again, indirect is divided into 2, mati and shruth, sensory and scriptural knowledge. And the direct is of 3 types. Avdi Manaparya is partial direct and Keval Gyan is completely direct. Okay. So 5 types of knowledge and they're divided into 2, direct and indirect. That makes 5 types of knowledge. Okay. That is what we are going to study in the next few aphorisms. Okay. So 9, 10, 11, 12. These 4 aphorisms deals with this. See. Who is going to read? Malti ji, you read.
Yes, sir. In the 6th aphorism, the description of comprehensive knowledge, praman, and viewpoint, nay, arose. There, it was also clearly stated that the right knowledge itself is comprehensive knowledge. That right knowledge is of 5 types, and the discussion of those 5 types is now being taken up in the subsequent aphorisms. Sensory knowledge, mati gyan, scriptural knowledge, shrut gyan, clairvoyant knowledge, avdi gyan, telepathic knowledge, manah praya gyan, and omniscience, keval gyan. These are the 5 types of right knowledge, samyak gyan. All these 5 types of right knowledge are considered comprehensive knowledge. These 5 types of right knowledge are divided into indirect, that is paroksh, and direct, pratyaksh forms. Among them, the first 2, sensory knowledge and scripture knowledge, are indirect comprehensive knowledge. The remaining 3, clairvoyant knowledge, telepathic knowledge, and omniscient knowledge, are direct comprehensive knowledge. Knowledge that is dependent on others is called indirect, and knowledge that is self-dependent is called direct. The knowledge that arises with the help of the senses, mind, light, etc., is considered indirect comprehensive knowledge because it is dependent. However, the knowledge that does not require the assistance of senses, mind, light, etc., is considered direct comprehensive knowledge. Direct comprehensive knowledge is also of 2 types based on the distinction between partial and complete directness. Des pratyaksh, partial direct knowledge, sakal pratyaksh, complete direct knowledge. Clairvoyant knowledge and telepathic knowledge are also considered partial direct knowledge, while omniscience is considered complete direct knowledge. Because they are limited in scope of objects, clairvoyant knowledge and telepathic knowledge are classified as partial direct knowledge, while omniscience, being the knowledge of all knowable entities, is classified as complete direct knowledge. The brief summary of the 5 types of knowledges is as follows. Sensory knowledge, mati gyan. That knowledge of the self which arises through a direct engagement of one's own perceptive mode, darshanapyog, turning away from externally dependent intellect, is called sensory knowledge. Alternatively, knowledge that arises with the help of the senses and the mind is termed sensory knowledge. Scriptural knowledge, that is the Shruti Gyan. Knowledge that knows a new object in relation to something previously known through sensory knowledge is called scriptural knowledge. Clairvoyant knowledge, Avadi Gyan. The clear knowledge of material form-based objects directly by the soul without the aid of the senses or the mind, but still limited by substance, space, time, and modification is called clairvoyant knowledge. Telepathic knowledge, that is Mana Praya Gyan. When a knowledgeable ascetic, that is Muni, clearly knows directly through the soul the psychic activity, tangible objects residing in another's mind without the help of senses or mind, yet within the limitations of substance, space, time, and modes, is called telepathic knowledge. In the upcoming discussion about clairvoyant knowledge, that is Avadhigyan, and telepathic knowledge, that is Mana Prayagyan, in the 26th and 27th aphorism, it will be stated that the object of clairvoyant knowledge is material form based. The object of clairvoyant knowledge is material form based entities, and further it will be discussed that the specific infinite subtle form based section of those objects residing in another's mind are the domain of telepathic knowledge. The infinitely subtle agreement refers to the psychic thought forms present in the mind of another. Omniscience, that is Keval Gyan, is defined as the perfect and passionless knowledge arising from destruction of knowledge obscuring karma, that is Kshay Gyan, which knows at all times and simultaneously the entire universe across past, present, and future, including all substances, all their qualities, attributes, all their modes, and viewpoint relative attributes, that is Apekshit Dharma.
Stop. So you see 5 kinds of knowledge. Direct, it's divided into 2. So the first 2, sensory and scriptural, are indirect knowledge. And then, of course, we have direct knowledge as 3, out of which 2 are telepathy. Clairvoyance and telepathy are partial direct knowledge, and the omniscience is a complete direct knowledge. So all these we have studied earlier also. So I'm not going into details on this. But the one question is that out of these 5 kinds of knowledge we have right now is sensory knowledge and the scriptural knowledge. And to know the soul, we can only know the soul through this knowledge only, right? So the other 2, the clairvoyance and telepathy, they are not able to see the soul, right? Their function is to know the material subjects. Okay, so they are related to matter only, and omniscience knows everything, right? That is our objective, to manifest the omniscience knowledge, that is complete knowledge. Okay, so right now at our end, whatever we have got in terms of sensory knowledge and the scriptural knowledge is enough for us to realize ourselves and get into the path of liberation. Okay, so don't fall in the attraction of telepathy, because telepathy, what telepathy does, it knows what is going on in your mind right now. Now, what benefit is going to make me? There are infinite people around us, infinite souls around us. Okay, not only the humans, but the subhumans and all. So what is the point? Okay, so these are not of any help to us to realize ourselves. Okay, so don't fall in these attractions about the clairvoyance knowledge and the telepathy knowledge and all. Whatever we have, focus, just use those knowledges to focus on the self. Okay, and that is only required for us, for our welfare, for our well-being, for our happiness. Okay, now the question comes that what is the fundamental difference between the okay, so one more related topic, one more related question to it, that so we have got this 5 senses and mind. Okay, our sensory knowledge and the scriptural knowledge is functioning through the 5 senses and mind. Now the soul is not known by the 5 senses, because through 5 senses we can only know those objects which has got touch, taste, smell, all these 5 senses. Okay, so soul is not known through 5 senses. Then we have mind. Okay. So mind has got two types of functions. It can know the material objects also, Rupi Padarth also, and non-material object, Arupi Padarth also. Okay. So soul is a Arupi Padarth, and that is because we have got mind, we can realize ourselves. Somebody who is not having mind will not be able to realize himself. Okay. So mind is required. So Samyak Darshan happens in all the four states of existence. But the condition is those who are rational beings, those who have minds, they only can manifest right belief. Okay. Samyak Darshan. So whatever we have in terms of the sensory knowledge and the scriptural knowledge is enough for us. Only condition is that we have to channelize those knowledges into knowing only the self. Okay, then we can realize our self. Now there is a question here that we will also read, and then we'll proceed to the 13th aphorism. Pratibhaji, you read the question.
Okay. Question. Since the mind and senses are instrumental in sensory knowledge and telepathic knowledge also deals with psychic objects, what is the fundamental difference between the two? Answer. Sensory knowledge is indirect comprehensive knowledge because it is dependent on the assistance of external instruments such as the senses and the mind. In contrast, telepathic knowledge is considered direct knowledge because it functions without the slightest need for assistance from external objects like the senses, etc. In its context, not only one's own thoughts but the psychic activity, vikalp, present in the mind of another soul also becomes the object of knowledge. Nay, thus these four sutras from Tattvartha Sutra 1.9 to 1.12 simply establish that sensory knowledge, scriptural knowledge, clairvoyant knowledge, telepathic knowledge, and omniscience are the five types of right knowledge, and as all five are forms of right knowledge, they are all considered comprehensive, valid knowledge. Praman. Direct pratyaksha and indirect paroksha are the two forms of comprehensive valid knowledge. The first two, sensory knowledge and scriptural knowledge, are indirect means of knowledge, while the later three, clairvoyance knowledge, telepathic knowledge, and omniscience, are direct means of knowledge. Although here in the Tattva Sutra, sensory knowledge and scriptural knowledge are referred to as indirect knowledge, still in the discipline of logic, there is a category known as conventional direct knowledge. Is it Samyak Varika Pratyaksha, which is
Samvyavarik Pratyaksh. So there is a third category which is called Samvyavarik Pratyaksh. So it is not exactly directly, but it is called directly just because it is knowing through senses. Like in a court of law, a murder is committed. So the judgment is given on the basis of the witness. Okay. So what the witness says, that I saw from my eyes that he killed that person. Right. Now, in the court of law, this is considered a valid knowledge, right? Because it's direct. He has directly known it. So that is called direct from the conventional viewpoint. Okay. Whatever you see through five senses is not direct in the real sense. It is direct from the conventional viewpoint. So there is a third category that has been created to function the day-to-day life situations, and that is called conventionally direct knowledge, Samvyavarik Pratyaksh, okay, which is also called direct sensory knowledge, Indriya Pratyaksh, okay. Similarly,
according to spiritual philosophy, there exists direct experience through self-realization, Swanubhuti Pratyaksha, Both these types of direct knowledge, some
Samvyavarik pratyaks and Swanubhuti pratyaks.
Anubhuti Pratyaksha pertain to those who possesses sensory and scriptural knowledge. The soul is also referred to as a knower, and the senses are also termed the knower. The knowledge that directly arises from knower, meaning from the soul, without the aid, nimit, of the senses, light, or any external medium, is called as direct knowledge from the real viewpoint. And the knowledge that is obtained with the assistance, nimit, of these senses, aksha, is also conventionally referred to as conventional direct knowledge, Samvyavarik Pratyaksha, also called as direct sensory knowledge, Indriya Pratyaksha. In the same way, when sensory scriptural knowledge through generally is classified as indirect knowledge, Paroksha Gyan becomes free from psychic activity, nirvikalp, and without the assistance, nimit, of the senses or external light, directly knows the soul and recognizes and believes it as one's own true nature. Then it is called as direct self-realized knowledge. Swanubhav Pratyaksha. In this manner, a general discussion on direct knowledge and indirect knowledge has been presented. Further ahead, these topics will be discussed in detail at their appropriate places.
Stop. So you see, the direct knowledge is coming from the space points of the soul. Okay. Avdi, Manaparya and Keval Gyan are directly coming from the soul. They are not taking any help from the senses or the mind. Okay. And the indirect knowledge, they are taking the help of the senses and mind. They both act as a instrumental cause, right? So, you know, in Navratri, there are garbhas. So in that garbhas, there are small holes and they light a lamp inside it, right? And the light comes out of it, okay, from that small holes. Similarly, the powerhouse is our soul. It's full of knowledge, and these five senses are like five windows from which that knowledge is coming out, okay. And we believe that the knowledge is coming from eyes and ears and taste. No, the powerhouse is the soul itself. If there is a dead body, he is having the five senses, but he cannot function. Why? Because the soul has gone, right? So the importance is of the soul and that what we are, okay? So direct knowledge, indirect knowledge. Now, this Samvyavarik Pratyaks is also called direct from the conventional viewpoint. It is not the real direct, but it is from the conventional viewpoint. So this there are these two types of conventional direct knowledge. One is this Samvyavarik Pratyaks, which is through the senses, and the other is the Swanubhav Pratyaks. Swanubhav Pratyaks means experience of the self-realization. Okay, experience during the self-realization, that is also called direct. So we cannot see the space points of the soul during self-realization, but the feeling that we experience is real, right? So what is the difference between the sensory bliss and the extrasensory bliss? Okay, what is the difference? So during sensory bliss, there is an element of anxiety involved, element of restlessness involved, element of perturbedness, akulta, okay, that is involved. But extrasensory bliss, there is no akulta, there is nirakulta, and that is the actual characteristics of the bliss, okay. Extrasensory bliss, the characteristic is nirakulta, and the sensory bliss, the characteristic is akulta. That is the difference, okay. Otherwise, everyone will say that we are very happy with the kind of sensual pleasures that we have. Why go for this bliss from the soul? But the bliss from the soul is entirely of different quality, okay. It is called nirakulta sukh, and this is akulta, and akulta is dukh only. Okay, it's not the real happiness. Okay, so this is all about the direct and indirect knowledge. Now we are coming on to the mati gyans, sensory knowledge. So it is starts from 13th to 19th. So first we will see the 15th sutra. Okay, and then we will come back to the 13th sutra, 13th aphorism. So first we will see the 15th sutra. Yeah, page number 46. Augraha iha avai dharna. Aphorism number 15. Go to the next page, next page, next page. 46. Yes. Yes. So this is the sutra number 15. It says Avgra iha avai dharna. So as we have a processor in the laptop, as we have a processor in the computer, there is a similar processor in our soul. And that processor is what? Mati Gyan, sensory knowledge. How it works? So initial, when you see something, very hazy, not very clear, it is called sensation, avgraha. This is the first impression. Before that, there is a perception. Darshan upyog purvak mati gyan hota hai. Okay. So first there is a perception, that is called darshan upyog, and then comes the gyan upyog. Okay. And in that gyan upyog, first thing that happens is the avgraha, sensation. What is this sensation? A general knowledge that arises through ocular or non-ocular perception is called as sensation, avgraha. For example, knowing this is human being is called as avgraha. So you see something called white, okay? You don't know what it is, okay? So that is called avgraha, the first impression after the perception, okay? Darshan upyog purvak, first impression, general impression is called avgraha. Then you develop curiosity to know what it is. That is called iha. Iha is curiosity. The effort to investigate more details about what has been roughly perceived by the ocular and non-ocular perception is called curiosity. Okay? Curiosity, that is iha knowledge. For instance, recognizing someone as a human, the mind may inquire, but he is a civilian or a foreigner. This inquisitive knowledge that seeks specification is called iha. So that white thing that you have seen, now you are in a dilemma. You have a curiosity, whether it is a duck or a flag. Okay. So now you are still in a dilemma. So that is the curiosity that you have developed. Okay. The third stage comes of judgment. Now there is no ambiguity. Now it is very clear that it is duck or it is white flag. Okay. So that is the third stage called judgment. And then still you have done the judgment. You have done the judgment. You have taken the decision that this is this. But still it might get, you might forget it. Okay. But something that you carry forward, you never forget it, is called the retention. Then comes the fourth stage called retention. Okay. So first is sensation, then curiosity, then judgment, then retention. Whatever you get into retention, that remains with you, and then you can call that again. That is called memory or remembrance. Okay. So whatever goes up to retention goes into memory. Okay. Then from memory, the next step comes is of, now we come back to the 13th sutra. Okay. To come back to the 13th sutra, why we studied the 15th sutra first is because that process first involves these four stages. Augra, iha, avai, dharna. Sensation, curiosity, judgment, and retention. Now, whatever comes to the level of retention, that goes into memory. You can recall that. Okay. But what goes up to judgment, you may forget it. It will never come to your mind again. So during the daytime, throughout the day, you always get some thoughts, as a passing thoughts. Now, we need to be very alert to hold on to those thoughts, like something important for your life is this spiritual understanding. Okay. So you get in the thought that today evening I will read the scriptures for half an hour. You get this thought because for my welfare, I need to understand this is very interesting and this is of very benefit. You get these thoughts. Okay. But by the time you reach your home evening, you forget everything because it never went up to the retention level. If it would have gone to the retention level, you would definitely go home and read that scripture for half an hour. Okay. So our knowledge moves around like this. Something goes at something reaches only the sensation level. Something reaches further sensation, then curiosity, then again it stops and the object changes. Then something goes up to sensation, curiosity, then judgment. Okay. And judgment, then it goes up to retention. And whatever it goes up to retention, it comes here as a memory. Okay. So now we come back to the 13th verse and we read the further process. Okay. So from memory, it goes to recognition. Recognition is what? Connecting knowledge. Present knowledge plus past memory. That is called connecting knowledge. From connecting knowledge, it goes to reflection. Okay. Reflection is called chinta or abhinibodh. Okay. It is also called, and then it reaches the level of inference, anuman. So this is the process of the sensory knowledge, mati gyan. Okay. So now we will read the sutra number 13. From 9th to the 12th aphorism, a general discussion was present on the 5 types of knowledge along with their distinctions such as indirect and direct. Now in the 7 sutras from 13 to 19, specific details are provided concerning sensory knowledge. Among these 7, the first, that is the 13th sutra, is as follows. Mati, smriti, sangya, chinta, abhinibodh, itya, anarthantaram. Mati is sensory cognition. Then memory, smriti. Then recognition, that is sangya. Recognition is also called connecting knowledge. Then reflection, that is chinta. It is also called tarka or chinta. Okay. Then inference. Last one is inference. These are all synonyms for sensory knowledge. Okay. So these are all part of sensory knowledge. The first 4 we read, Augra, Iha, Avai Dharana, and then Smriti, then Pratyabhigyan, okay, or Sangya, Pratyabhigyan or Sangya. Then we have Chinta or Tark, and then we have Anuman, that is inference. Anuman is also called Abhinibodh. Okay. Different scriptures have written different names, so there is bit of confusion. But we will, in English, we will have a very common terminology across everywhere. Okay. So in Hindi, somewhere it is written Chinta, somewhere it is written Tark, and somewhere it is written Abhinibodh, somewhere it is written Anuman, but we will have some common terminology. So these are all common terminology. Sensory cognition is mati. Then memory, you cancel recollection, you only use memory. Okay, for smriti, we will use memory. Then for connecting knowledge, we will use recognition. Okay, past memory and present knowledge put together is recognition. And then there is reflection. Reflection is chinta. Okay, so that is also called tark or vyapti gyan in Hindi. So reflection is nothing but knowledge of universal pervasion. Okay, we are coming to the definition. And the last is inference. Okay, although their forms and functions may appear distinct, in all of them, the inner instrumental cause is the substance cum description, sayapsham, of the karmic obstruction to sense-based knowledge, mati, jnana, varan, karma. So all these 5 are based on the Mati Jnana Varkarma as instrumental cause. Okay. So these are all part of Mati Jnana Varkarma. So this only manifest when there is a subsidence come destruction of the Mati Jnana Varan Karma. Therefore, these are regarded as just different names for sensory knowledge. Okay. So the first one, Manan, Mati. Mati means Manan. Okay. Reflective contemplation. Okay. Bara Bhavna, we had this 12 contemplations or we have 12 reflections. This is called Mati. Then recalling is Smriti. Recalling means memory. Coming into memory again is called Smriti. So what have reached the level of retention, that only will come in memory. Okay. Then the third is, so we can write memory here. Instead of recalling, we will write memory is Smriti. We will have common terminology across everywhere. Okay. So write is memory. Okay. Then knowledge in the form of recognition. So third one is recognition or identification is pratyabhigyan or sangya. Okay. So we will write recognition as a common terminology, and in bracket you can write down connecting knowledge for our understanding. Okay. Recognition, knowing in the form of recognition is connecting knowledge. And the fourth one is knowing of universal pervasion, vyapti gyan, is tark or chinta, inference based reasoning. Okay. So that we will take it as actually it is inference based reasoning. That is the good terminology. You write down, it's written in the bracket, inference based reasoning. Okay. Inference based reasoning means tark, vyapti ke gyan. Okay. Inference based reasoning. And the last one is inferential knowledge or inference. Anuman. Anuman is not guesswork. Okay. The guesswork we do in worldly life is not Anuman in here. Here Anuman is based on a scientific principles, and those comes very correct because all these are part of right knowledge, because this is Mati Gyan. Okay. So Mati Gyan is a right knowledge, and all these are based on logical explanations. Okay. So all these are part of right knowledge. So this Anuman is inference. Inference is not a guesswork. It is based on scientific logicking. Okay. And that we will study in detail. In the Nyaya Shastra, particularly in the third chapter of the aphoristic treatise Pariksha Mukh. So we have this Pariksha Mukh into the 10th semester. Okay. So there we will study again about this thing. The discussion of these terms are Mati, Smriti, etc. is elaborated in detail. So there we will do it in an elaboration manner, but here also we will study it. The four subtypes of Mati Gyan is Avgra, Iha, Avaidharana that we already did. Okay. When sensory knowledge acquired through sensory perception and under the alternate name Mati progresses through the stages of Avgraha, Iha, Avaidharana. Okay. Avgraha is sensation. Here it is written initial grasp, but you write as sensation, common name. Then Iha is curiosity. Here it is written effortful inquiry, but you write curiosity. All these corrections were done, but somehow it has not reflected here. Then third is Avai. Avai is judgment, not determination, cognition, but judgment. We will use common word everywhere. Judgment.
That only,
So in
sir.
our copies, it's purple.
It's there, sir.
Acha?
Yes.
No, so in my copy, it's not there.
No. You are seeing the names, initial names, but the discussion that follows, they have changed the names there. You can see. When sensory knowledge acquired through sensory perception, there you read.
Yes, sir, it's Indriya Pratyaksh, and there it is written effortful
Inquiry. So it
Effortful
will be
inquiry.
curiosity. There you have to change.
And even in the
Curiosity.
later part, yeah, it's written something else.
And avai would be judgment, not determinate cognition.
Cognition. Yeah.
And to reach dharana, dharana is retention. Retentive knowledge is correct. Okay. So this is correct. Retention. Then at a later time, its recollection is called smriti. So first four, then you come to smriti, that is memory. Okay. From now you proceed memory to thus contemplating in order to determine the nature of a substance is mati, and when the object known through dharana reappears in knowledge, that is recollection. Memory. Smriti. Recollection is memory. Okay. So what has reached retention, that will reappear in memory. Okay. Further, when the same Matigyan links past sensory perception with present sensory perception through the medium of memory, then the knowledge that arises from the act of synthesis. Synthesis of what? The present knowledge and the past knowledge is called pratyabhigyan, recognitive knowledge, also known as sangya. Okay. So we will write a common name called recognitive knowledge or connecting knowledge. Okay. Recognition or connecting knowledge. Okay. So connecting knowledge is nothing, something present knowledge plus past knowledge. Okay. You see, you carry an umbrella during rainy season. Okay. You park it in your friend's place at one corner, and then you talk for half an hour, and then the rain was not there. So you proceed to your home, and in between you saw an umbrella of another person, and you remember, oh, I forgot my umbrella at my friend's place. So again you go back and catch that umbrella. So seeing this umbrella, present knowledge, and you remembered your umbrella, which is a past knowledge, that is called connecting knowledge. Okay. So this connecting knowledge or the recognitive knowledge is of 5 types. Okay. Page number 43. This is the same as that I have seen earlier, or this resembles that, or this is exactly the opposite of that. Okay. So I had seen earlier is number 1, resembles that is number 2, exactly opposite to that is number 3, and fourth would be comparative. Okay. Fourth would be comparative or connective knowledge are known as recognitive cognition or identificatory knowledge. So we will use one word, recognitive knowledge. Recognitive cognition is knowledge only. So sometimes they write cognition, but we will use word knowledge everywhere. Okay, knowledge. Wherever you find cognition, you write knowledge. So this is recognitive knowledge, has got 5 types. Okay. This recognitive knowledge is of 5 types. First one, identity recognition, ekatva pratyabhigyan. I'll give one example for all the 5. Okay. For all the 4. I had seen the child 2 years ago. It is the same one. This is called identity recognition, ekatva pratyabhigyan. Second example, recognition by resemblance, sadrasya pratyabhigyan. This is similar to that. Okay. So in the same example, I had seen the child 2 years ago. It is just as simple. So 2 years ago, he was also simple. Today also he is simple. Okay. So that is called the second category. The third is recognition by dissimilarity. This is distinct from or opposite to that. The same example, I had seen the child 2 years ago. It is not as simple as it was previously. Okay. So as you grow up, you become complex, right? Initially, you are very innocent, and then you become smarter, right? And you become complex. So it is not as simple as it was. Okay. Fourth example, recognition by spatial distinction, pratiyogi, comparative. This is farther than that or at different locations. So you are doing comparison. I had seen the child 2 years ago. Now the height has increased. So the child is same, but now you are comparing it to the same 2 years ago. Height was small and now the height has increased. So this is the fourth category. And the fifth category doesn't have an example. Recognition by a general classification or universal. This is a tree. Okay. So 5 types of recognitive knowledge. Recognitive knowledge, we will use these common words across everywhere. Okay. So our time is over, more than over. So I am stopping here, but we will continue in the next class. In meantime, you can read this aphorisms number 13, 14, 15. Up to 15 you read. We have covered up to 15. And 14th is nothing but just explaining that the uh, senses and mind acts as an instrumental cause in Mati Gyan. Okay. So 14 is also covered during the explanation. So up to 15, you cover up, and we will revise again, and then we'll proceed from 16 onwards in the next class. Okay. So your homework would be up to 15 aphorisms. Okay. You spend some time reading it again and again, and you will understand better. And in the next class, I would also highlight on why it is necessary to know the process of Mati Gyan. Okay. So as a computer has a processor, we also have a processor. Once you know the functioning of this processor, you will feel relaxed, absolutely relaxed. And we also apply this in our day-to-day life also, that we will also discuss in the next class. Okay.
Sir, I have a question. In
Let
practical
me
life,
do the
okay,
Mangla Charan. We are already over of
great,
time. So
great.
then we will take up the questions. Okay.
Yes, sir, yes.
निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को